day 24. Last day in Vienna. It's more like a half day. So I'm heading over for the walking tour. Better not have been canceled this time. I have to get my camera fixed because the screen kept falling and it almost came off. Like literally if I hadn't been holding it for the last yesterday, it would have came off. So I had to go get that fixed this morning. It's not quite like how it should be, but it like should hold it. That's going on the camera. Hopefully it will be fine now. I have to be a little bit more careful when I'm flipping the screen up and down.
150 years ago, the Emperor Francis Joseph decided to tear down this old city wall. It wasn't necessary. When they built it, it was for fortification reasons, of course. The weapons had changed, though. The wall was not necessary anymore. So he decided to tear it down, and he could build a beautiful street encircling the old city center. That street is called Ringstraße. Most of the important buildings here in this city stand on that street, Ringstraße.
The Opera House, Hotel Sakator, apparently for famous soccer cake. Never heard of it, but I guess that's where you go for it. Said it was chocolate cake though, and I don't like chocolate cake, so I wouldn't try it anyways. And he said it's not good. This is a memorial to the Holocaust. Our tour guide was saying that in Austria, no one really wanted to talk about World War II for years, not until like the 1970s, 1980s. He said when he was at school, their history lesson ended at World War I. No one talked about it because, you know, they're like, well, we were the first country that Hitler invaded. And like he was saying, 90% of people supported were pro-Hitler when he first came. And he was saying that a lot of the worst people in Hitler's government came from Austria and were Austrian. There's just a lot of people wanting to like ignore what happened and not face the realities of how they participated in the war, but now they have started to acknowledge what happened.
Over there, by the way, you can see Maria Theresia. At the end of her life, she was a very, very pretty young woman, but of course giving birth to 16 children doesn't make you any slimmer. Having hot chocolate as your favorite drink doesn't make you slimmer, especially when you have 10 to 15 cups per day.
Wow.
So at the end of her life, she was a real big woman. She was not able to walk up one floor. Yeah?
Wow.
So they had to install elevators each and everywhere where she was located. And over there, if you turn to the left, you can read Augustinerkirche. The Augustine Church of St. Augustine. That was the family church for the Habsburg family. All of the important weddings took place here from Maria Theresia, her sons Francis Joseph. They all married in this church, including a man called Napoleon Bonaparte. He was married in here. In this city we have two imperial palaces. This one here was the winter residence, and they had a summer residence as well, and that has the name Schönbrunn Palace. It sounds a little bit unusual to have in the same city. Today we're talking about not even 15 minutes by car to come from one to the other. Then they were outside those high and big city walls. That was the important thing. Imagine, there was no sewage system. All the garbage was thrown on the street. Imagine a hot summer day, 35 degrees, no breeze inside those high walls, of course, thousands of stray dogs, millions of rats running around. Imagine the smell. So whoever could afford it was trying to have a summer residence outside of those city walls. And today we have some examples where, for instance, the Belvedere Palace is from the Opera House 10 minutes walking. Then it meant one residence here inside those walls, 10 minutes walking, but it was outside of those walls, and that was good enough then, if you could afford it, to live during the hot summer days outside of the city walls. So Francis II, the emperor, said before that happens, I will found a new empire, call it the Austrian Empire. So in his early days, Francis II of the Roman Holy Empire, second part of his life, Francis I of the newly founded Austrian Empire. He is the perfect example of how the Habsburgs worked regarding their marriage policy. He was the biggest enemy of Napoleon Bonaparte and managed to become the father-in-law of Napoleon. He gave the hands of one of his daughters to Napoleon, and the only official son Napoleon ever had was Napoleon II, and that was with that Habsburg daughter. So all of a sudden, from the biggest enemy, he turned into the father-of-law. Quite clever. Cheering, hooray, Heil Hitler, Heil den Führer. I mean, we know today how evil they turned out to be, but please do not forget, until then, until the end of the First World War, this was the capital city of a 55 million inhabitants empire. The First World War was lost, and they went down from 55 million to 5. Some of you are from the US. Imagine you have 50 states now. You lose one war and the winner tells you forget 45 of those 50 states and you keep 5 of them. That's exactly what happened to the Austrian Empire there. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers coming back, wounded, jobless, homeless, starving. The people had nothing where they could live. Most of the buildings were destroyed, and along comes young Adolf Hitler, a great speaker obviously, and he said, follow me, I'll give you new jobs, I'll give you hope, let's make this country great again. We know how evil it turned out to be, but I think it's a bit understandable that at least in the beginning so many would follow Adolf Hitler.
So this is the balcony that Adolf Hitler announced the annexation of Austria. So hundreds of thousands of people were standing over here. These are some of the old Roman ruins they found when they were digging up the subway, because the Romans were here 2,000 years ago. They were very advanced. They had central heated floors and toilets they could flush, while in the palace they just had chamber pots and they're only heated by like using wood and coal, so not nearly as advanced, and they were around much earlier than when they were in the palace here.
And that young man's name was Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. He was not born in Vienna, he was born in Salzburg, which is 300 kilometers, 200 miles west of Vienna. But the last 10 years of his life he spent here in Vienna. He died here and he's buried here in Vienna as well. Please don't forget, he was born as a wonder child. He wrote his first musical play at the age of 4, his first opera at the age of 7. So he was really a wonder child, and he had a very strict and powerful father who forced young Mozart to earn money for the family all the time. He never had a normal childhood, he never had friends. He was more or less sitting in horse carriages until his father died, and Mozart was 21 by that time. And after that the father had passed away. He freaked out, you could say. A lot of sex and drugs and rock and roll after that. Not so much rock and roll, but a lot of sex and drugs. I think it's quite understandable that if you have never a normal life. One thing that many people think it's right about Mozart, they always tell me Mozart was so poor when he died, he was buried in a mass grave. Fact is, Mozart was buried in a mass grave, and we do know the cemetery in which he's buried. We do not know the exact position of his grave because there were mass graves. But the reason was not he was so poor. The reason was that when Mozart died, Emperor Joseph II was in power, the one with many reforms. And I told you he went a little bit cuckoo at the end of his life. And one of his rather weird reforms was that everybody had to be buried in mass graves. He said, people, I'm looking at you, you are starving, and you spent your last penny on a funeral of somebody you loved. I don't want this to happen. So no matter if you're poor or rich, you will be buried in mass graves from now on.
So this is St. Stephen's Cathedral we're coming up on. That's like the center point of the city, and it's very iconic. Oh wow, very tall, neo-Gothic cathedral. See guys, I'm learning my cathedral terminology because I've been to so many. This is neo-Gothic style. I'm so smart, I know.
Oh, you're sick of my voice.
This is such a cool clock. In the Jewish quarter right now, there used to be 260,000 Jewish people lived here before the war, and after Hitler, only 16,000 live here now.
And of course he was a Jew. And the Nazis said, Mr. Freud, you gotta go. And he said, no way, this is my hometown. I'm 85 years, certainly I will not leave my country and my hometown. What should the Nazis do? They couldn't treat him like all the other Jews. He was worldwide known. So they had to treat that with care, of course. What did they do? They kidnapped his daughter, Anna, and put her into prison here at the Gestapo headquarters. Still then Freud didn't give up. He said, you can do whatever you want, I will not leave the city. And until one day, when his son-in-law, the husband of Anna, his daughter, came to see him and said, listen, I talked to your daughter today, she will commit suicide tonight if you don't give her. So finally Freud said, okay, I've got to go and take my family, and we're leaving. And before he was allowed to leave, he had to sign a form saying that he was treated with respect and with care, no harm was done to him. So he even signed that piece of paper, and he put a nice little PS underneath of it saying, I can highly recommend the Gestapo to each and everyone in the room. The Nazi officer was too stupid to realize that it was meant cynically, showed it around happily, said, listen, look, have a look how nicely Sigmund Freud is talking about it. This was the final sign for thousands and thousands of Jews here in the city to leave the city as well. Because he was 85 years, they said, listen, if Freud is giving up, if Freud is leaving the city, let's go as well before it's getting too late. So in a way, as I told you, of course, a big tragedy, but in a way it was a positive sign that at least in Vienna, a lot of them could survive and were leaving for the Americas, for England, for Switzerland, also to exile.
So I'm going to this famous restaurant that is very known for Schnitzel. I'm going to get veal Schnitzel because I don't eat pork, even though that's traditional. I've mentioned before, so Vienna, that's the English word for Vienna, the city. But if you are from Austria, you call it Wien. And if any of you guys in America have ever been to Wiener Schnitzel, well, that word comes from here. But Wiener Schnitzel does not mean what it means there. So I just ordered some Wiener Schnitzel. So what it actually is fried and breaded veal, so baby cow. And so what it looks like. And you drizzle some lemon over it. I got a little side salad to go with it. And this fizzy, sparkling wine, so kind of like a champagne with apricot in it. Now this restaurant is named Miller, and it's where our tour guide said this is the most famous place in Vienna to get schnitzel. Though the traditional schnitzel is pork. I don't eat pork, so I got the veal schnitzel. I'll let you guys know how it is. This is where I just had lunch. Miller. Been around since 1905. So I had the veal schnitzel, which was excellent, very good. You just drizzle some lemon over it, and I had a little salad with it. Very full, but not full enough where I'm not gonna get some apple strudel before I leave. So I'm gonna head to another place that was recommended to get an apple strudel, and head back to the hostel, and then hop on a train to Salzburg. This cafe over here, Demo, is where he said every good Viennese person will tell you the best apple strudel is. Looks very good. Well, I got my strudel in this bag right here. Oh, and I decided not to get the hot chocolate because they said that they couldn't give it to go, couldn't give drinks to go. I didn't want to sit there and eat and drink because I was still pretty full. So this will be my snack on the train. Right. Well, bag secured. Back to its nice all in one form instead of having a bag on here, but it's all nice and how it's supposed to be now. It should take me about less than 10 minutes to walk there with this. I figure a little bit longer because, well, I got an extra 30 pounds on my back now. It's like 3:25 right now. Train leaves at 3:40. I'm not gonna say that's plenty of time, but that is enough time that I should be able to make the train. Made it onto the train with like 7 minutes to spare, so getting to Salzburg in like 2 hours and 15 minutes. Bye-bye, Vienna. Next stop is the Austrian Alps. Hopefully see some very pretty landscapes on this train ride. That's why I'm excited. It's really kind of the first train I've taken. It's actually in the daytime. The earliest I think I got on a train before was 5 o'clock, and it's like 3:40. So it's actually sunny out. You get to see beautiful Austrian countryside. So dozed out for like an hour. Figured maybe feed my apple strudel will wake me up a bit. So now that is a little snack. Yum. Timid. So let's try a bite of this. It's very cinnamony, which I like to make good. So I don't really know if I've had apple strudel before. I'm sure I have. I don't remember it. But this is very good. Look at the lake. Oh my god. So pretty, guys. Well, I made it to Salzburg. Finished checking in at my hostel. Put my shit down. Of course, everyone was already there. Like all their shit was there. No one was in the room. So I'm on a top bunk. Woo. Hopefully, someone will be leaving tomorrow and then I can take over their bed. Like, I really, really hope so. Because I hate being on a top bunk. So now I'm gonna go up to, I think, the Hofburg Palace and like watch the sunset. See about like picking up some food on the way. here a little bit later than I wanted to. It's kind of more like dusk than sunset. But it is truly beautiful up here. And this is the back side. And look, you can see the Alps, which is beautiful. The snowy mountains with all the green city of Salzburg. Oh, it is so beautiful up in this mountain town. I cannot believe how beautiful Salzburg is. I just got here a few hours ago and I'm already like amazed at the beauty of this place. It's so pretty. It's not a palace or a castle. It's a fortress. It's open right now, but there's like, this amazes me that there's nobody here. But it kind of seems like Salzburg is like a sleepy town. Like it kind of stops after like 6. But hey, I'm enjoying not having tourists here. Just being able to walk around. Like, how often are you gonna have a place like this with nobody here? Like, people actually like live here. I didn't realize people actually lived here. I mean, it looked like houses, but I was like, oh, that must have been, you know, from way back when like people wouldn't live up here now, but people live up here. That is crazy. I look at Salzburg at night with all the lights on, the beautiful river. Can't get over how gorgeous this city is. It's just so incredibly beautiful. I still don't understand why I can't get this camera to focus on more than one thing. It either focuses on me or focuses on the background. And one of us is blurry. I don't get it. I don't know how to fix it. So if you're wondering why my pictures are like half blurry, that's why. I have to choose me in focus or the background. All right, time to head back to the hostel. Really pretty fountain right in the side of the cliff. Leopoldo. Looks something like archiepisco. So the archbishop or something. I don't know. Pretty fountain.